Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, February 17th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today. Wow. All right, we have got the Knight of Cups in its upright in combination with our Knight of Swords in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about this full moon in Leo that we just moved away from, because there's something really important to talk about as it relates to honoring how we feel. What does it mean when we talk about honoring how we feel? It's vulnerable work, right? It's not easy. Finding, and I keep on seeing that a lot of the challenge right now that we are navigating has to do with finding a way to honor how we feel in a way that feels empowering and not overly and like not vulnerable, right? This is and I want to tell you, if there's something that you're navigating as it relates to feeling that exhaustion, right? All of this work that we talked about, working through the Mars retrograde, has to do, it's just been lesson upon lesson about what it means to embody warrior energy. Warrior energy is not the type of energy that is eager for battle, right? It's not the type of energy that looks for a provocation point. It's not the type of energy that seeks it out. The healthy warrior energy is such that a warrior works through lessons so that they don't have to experience them again. Right? Like this is the beauty and the power of love. And when we're in a space where we honor how far we've come, there's a level or degree of surrender that we talk about. We've been talking a lot about prior to our break, that surrender does not mean giving up. Surrender identifies letting go of things that we insist upon, where we recognize and identify that we stand in our own way. So there's a lot of adaptability I see that's happening right now across the frequencies. And I want to say that something about this that I think is so beautiful and impactful and is kind of getting us prepared for Pisces season, because Pisces season is going to help us in this way, because Pisces season, and we have to talk, we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between Aquarius and Pisces energy. Because we talked a bit about the fact that Aquarius energy often looks at the emotions like they are pesky, right? Like these pesky emotions, I got to get rid of them. They just stand in the way, right? But when we move the emotions into the unconscious, we don't make them disappear, right? We have to come into that space of honoring them. Now, everything I keep seeing right now, and this is what is like, this is the preparation for Pisces season, because it can sometimes feel like we open the floodgates of emotion. And when we do not feel like we're in a place of stability, we often desire to run away from our emotions. We often feel the anxiety of not having the ability to contain the way that we feel. Pisces often helps us understand that our ability of holding space for our emotions is limitless, so long as we allow that space of controlling and channeling where we put that emotionality, right? This is often what we talk about when it comes to discernment, when it talks about like regulating the self or finding that modality of regulation. Because To be able to regulate a strong emotion is one that allows us to channel it into places it feels like it's energetically productive. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy in separation right now, this is the afterglow, if you will, of that Leo full moon. Because the ability to acknowledge how much someone means to you or how much something means to you, we often forget to marvel at how much our hearts can contain. And so I keep on seeing that there's a lot of the energy and separation that recognizes that even if they feel that expansiveness of pain, it is indicative of a heart that is working, right? The ability to hold the emotion or hold the space of something. This is why I told you there was so much of that full moon energy that was sacred heart energy. Because a heart that works is often a heart that hurts. But it also means that same expansion point of pain is the exact same vibration of love that the heart can also contain. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy in separation, the lesson that seems to be being navigated is a reminder that to move forward out of separation isn't a circumstance that requires one to let go of the pain, but to make room to feel other things besides that, right? That a journey, and we were talking a lot about this, the shift into Pluto and Aquarius, which says to us that a good manifestation is not one that we stop feeling about something or stop caring about something that was important to us. It's finding the expansiveness to feel other things as well. So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that energy right now. It has a lot to do with where Chiron is right now, right? The wounded warrior, understanding and identifying, moving forward with discernment, but it's almost that vulnerability that feels the expression of a heart that is expanding, or finding the ability to find a way to persevere through those difficulties. But it's tender stuff. There's a lot of vulnerability here on the wake of this full moon. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, I keep on getting the message that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, having to look back on something and take a different lesson, I see that a lot of that energy, I keep on hearing the energy coming into divine union is in Neptune right now, right? They're saying that they're in Neptune because I see that energy diving back into the past, because something that they can see from the vantage point of the present is giving them a new context upon what it is that they're searching for in their own past. This often happens when we have these expansion moments. We see something we recognize our own blind spots. And I keep on seeing that for some of the energy coming into divine union right now, something about coming into divine union is helping one see a blind spot that one couldn't see in the past. Welcome, like Leo full moons will do that. They'll shine a light on our own energetic blind spots, right? So a lot of that work, I keep on seeing that there's energy right now that's coming into divine union, that's in Neptune, that's diving back into their past for new pearls, because they're looking back on something in a different way and they're learning something different in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the counterparts. Like I keep on getting the counterparts are counterparting. I'm getting a message that the energy deep within divine union right now is in Gemini. Why is it in Gemini? Because the energy is in Gemini because they're not embodying the same qualities and characteristics. When we dovetail with another, it doesn't require us to always be in the same exact vibration. We look towards one another and we fill in the gaps. We're able to step forward, or we're able to step in a way to help another in relationality to what they energetically need. So I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy right now is in Gemini because they're being very adaptable. They're being very attentive to one another, right? And a lot of that work of counterpart is allowing for new breakthroughs or new possibilities or new considerations to take place, particularly in the realm of projects, plans, and communication. Center card for today's spread, pardon me. Yeah, we've got here we go. We've got here our four of swords in its reversal. Man, there's so much nostalgia right now. It has to do with Neptune. Everybody's looking at the past in a different way. And I'm going to tell you right now, remembering, and here's the thing, because we've got a Venus retrograde starting on March 1st. Working in that context of understanding that it's very easy to wax poetic on the past because everything gets shinier in the distance of time. Okay? Everything looks shinier with the distance of time. It's very easy to miss the mess of the past, and particularly in comparison to the present. And the other thing we want to, and this is like, I'm going to tell you right now, I already see a lot of this challenging experience that we're going to have with a combination of Pisces season arriving around the same exact time as a Venus in retrograde. It has to do with not getting like overly sentimental or sentimentalizing something in a way in comparison to the present, to the past. Like this is going to be and I told you, this is what I was like, we got to kind of prepare for this now, because when we get too nostalgic for the past, we get trapped in it, right? When we long to go backwards, we sometimes can't be very relevant in the present. So I want you to stay very grounded right now in the present and give yourself that leeway of not being too hard on yourself along the way. Because I'm telling you right now, this Venus in retrograde period cycles that we start to enter, we can get very hard on ourselves as it relates to comparing ourselves, and this could even be comparing ourselves to past versions of self, or being very hard on a past version of self. You are your own energetic solution. I want you to remember that. And not getting too hard on yourself along the way is really valuable and important, especially, I want to say, especially for the energy deep within divine union. Because I keep on seeing that for the energy deep within divine union, working through that space of perfection, it's not just something that one is doing for the self, but one is also doing an aspiration of moving towards counterpart. So the compassion that we're able to give ourselves is exactly and determinate to what we can give those around us. So I want you to be really gentle with yourself during this time, because I'm seeing even now, coming out of this Leo full moon cycle, there's a lot of emotional vulnerability. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is deep diving. I see some energy right now that is not so much building upon being nostalgic for the past, so much as the past is becoming a vital reference point, right? I keep on seeing that there's something about being able to identify and recognize something in the self that one couldn't see before, that I keep on seeing delightful and devastating, right? Like the acknowledgement, like becoming cringe to it. I keep on seeing that some of that energy is looking back on something and cringing in a way that they didn't before, because they're holding themselves to a different standard. So that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, being able to recognize and identify that, it's also the same work and not being too hard on oneself in the process. And I'll tell you even now, for so much of that energy coming into divine union at this time, I feel like there's a tremendous amount of forgiveness that's happening. And that is the work that feels like the forgiveness of the self in understanding and recognizing something that you could not understand until you'd arrived at it. This is what I see as the same work that the energy and separation is working through, right? I keep on getting the same message for a lot of the energy and separation, which is it's not about letting go. It's about making more room, right? Some of this energy and separation, holding on to something from the past, I just keep on seeing the energy say, I don't need to let go. I just need to make more space, right? Finding a place to put something, finding a way to carry something so that it doesn't feel like it's overwhelming. But that's why I keep on seeing that a lot of this work during this Mars retrograde cycle has been in finding and understanding the courage it takes to take that chance, to take those risks, right? Because a lot of this energy has actually entered into like they're already, I keep on hearing the energy and separation is already in their manifestation. But the same thing that is helping them recognize what is precious is also making them very conscientious as to who they allow towards them or who they let in, right? So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of this like hypersensitivity I'm seeing for some of the energy and separation, but it's also analogous to entering into a manifestation. Fourth and fifth card in our 5-card spread for today, before we get clarification on these cards. Woo! Wow! Look at this. We've got our Wheel of Fortune in its upright in combination with our Ace of Cups, right? So we were talking a little bit about this prior to our break, which is there is nothing like when I was reading for the energy and separation is in Virgo right now. The energy and separation is in Virgo. And the thing with being in Virgo energy is when we hold ourselves very preciously, we start building into a context of finding the courage to put ourselves out there. Okay. It requires that sense of feeling, of taking that risk. And the thing with Virgo energy is it's very risk averse, right? It's very withdrawn. There's a lot of that energy here, right? That recognizes, like the carefulness of being precious, right? And that's the energy that I see. And I think it's interesting because I keep on hearing the energy in separation saying, I don't want to be reckless. And the higher self saying, baby, you couldn't be reckless if you tried. Because when you're in Virgo, right, and you're careful, like it's the care of it, right? It's like that gentle, like that gentleness that can move like mountains. It's this is why I keep on seeing that like a lot of this energy like may not even be recognizing themselves because they've changed so much, and being able to honor how much one has changed, recognizing and identifying the care and the love that one is putting in one's own path work. This is the gift that this is that the energy recognizes that they're bringing as it relates to a counterpart connection, right? The prioritization of moving in such a way that one is not reckless is both creating the space of showing the fact that some of that energy is already moved into their manifestation of partnership, even if they're not energetically partnered, because it is amplified on the care through which they're moving, right? It's like its own energetic protection to a certain extent. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is why I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy, the energy that's coming into divine union is diving into the past, looking for pearls, Like this is heavy in Aquarius energy right now because there's a lot of work I see that's happening as it relates to Neptune. Because this is the energy that is seeing something that they couldn't see before. And now they're moving deeper into themselves in the process. Because this is the energy that is the amplification of understanding something. That often when we move towards manifestation goals, remembering it's not what we find there, it's who we arrive to be. And so a lot of this energy here is learning things about themselves as they move into a manifestation that again is evidence towards what feels like it is positive and beneficial for them. While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union right now, this is why I keep on hearing that this is the energy that's in Gemini right now. And when energy is in Gemini, it's beautiful because it is the hypersensitivity of attunement to a certain extent where you can predicate another's needs before another even has to like say it, right? So there may be a lot of, I'm actually getting, there may be a lot of like, I don't want to say like relationship telepathy, like relationship telepathy that is occurring right now for energy deep within divine union in being very hypersensitive and attuned to another's needs to such an extent that you can intuit a need before another even articulates it. Continuing to, and that might be very like high right now because a lot of this energy I'm getting is it's very high frequency. Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Cups and our Knight of Swords in its reversal. There's that Gemini energy I was talking about. Love it. Queen of Pentacles in its upright. I like this because I keep seeing practical. Working through frustrations right now. We talked a little bit about this. Uranus is in Taurus right now, which again, everybody's got short fuses as it relates to it. But here's the thing. And this is why I was saying, making sure that you're not lashing out at frustrations, but letting a frustration bring you into a context of a new solution. Everything I keep seeing here, like it's giving me like new rule energy, right? Being able to make some kind of change or making some kind of agreement or working in a way that the minor irritation becomes, I want to say, like becomes the motivator, right? Like that thing that keeps happening, it becomes the force of change, right? Because sometimes, and we talked a little bit about this, frustration can be transformative so long as we don't project it outwards. The immediate inclination of frustration is wanting to get rid of something. It's wanting to push it outwards. But often, if we are patient with ourselves, we sometimes find a solution as it relates to a frustration that we never would have come upon had we not gotten frustrated in the first place. So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of like the frustration that becomes the solution here. So don't continue, like I said, continue not to be projecting. I'm going to say the same thing I was saying prior to our break, which is don't lash out right now, lock in. Because, you know, one of the things that we're experiencing is that Jupiter was in retrograde for a good portion of this year, which was hard because things that felt like the smallest thing felt like it took like a Herculean effort to do. You may be noticing or feeling like you're getting your strength back, right? Because a lot of this is calibrating for what it feels like now that Jupiter is back station direct. And this is like I keep on hearing like landing on solutions, like landing on solutions, like a little bit of that, like finger snap, right? But that's why it's really important that you're embodying the force of change. You're not being hypercritical during this time. And this is, you know, this is a lot of that gift. I keep on getting the afterglow of the Leo full moon cycle, which is honoring how we feel. honoring even our frustration, because our frustration identifies where we set our standards, right? Like this is the frustration that we contemplate upon, right? Going into that experience, saying to ourselves, why does that bother me so much? When we are reactive, it's the ego, right? The ego doesn't want to explain why one is reactive to something. But when we are frustrated and we explore the reasons why, we come to understand ourselves better. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of this energy, that is being amplified for the energy deep within divine union as a sense of deep appreciation in knowing someone better than they know themselves. And this is often what we see when we have healthy counterpart energy, right? It's like we see each other in such a way that we can anticipate things. It becomes like almost like a love language. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, I can see that some of that energy is arriving to a point as it relates to partnership, that even in the experience of moving towards partnership, there's identifying and seeing one's own blind spots, which is evidence in how much work one has done on the self, right? There's a lot of that contemplation and appreciation for how far one has come, which is why I see that energy is finding the strength to deep dive into their own past again. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation, I keep on hearing that energy that says, the partner that's for me will honor how I feel. Those standards will not be too intense for the energy that matches my intensity, right? There's a lot of that energy that is appreciating and understanding the force that if another person sees our standards and feels they are too much, those are the standards that protect us, because they will move them away from us. That's why we don't become adaptable. If another person shows displeasure to our standards, we become firmer in them, because that is evidence of the fact that they are working. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, being able to look back on something in the past and saying to oneself, I would never do that. I would never make that choice. That is the amplification of how far someone has come, because they're not even recognizing the old version of self in the process. Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Swords and its reversal in combination with our Four of Swords and its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? I love it. We've got our 10 of Wands in its reversal. So, here's the thing. I keep on hearing, and this is why I keep on hearing that a lot of the energy in separation is in Virgo. Because what is the energy in separation in Virgo saying? You can't force a connection. I mean, you can, right? Like, this is the energy in separation saying you can, but at what cost, right? When we force connections, we can have anything that we want. We've talked a lot about this with manifestation. The universe is very kind to us in the sense that if we want to insist on something, the universe will say, if you insist, but it'll never feel the way that you want it to feel. Like, you can insist upon anything, but the question isn't about the things that you achieve. It's who you are as you embody them. So I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of this energy in separation that is healing and forgiving themselves from experiences wherein either one insisted upon something, but it never felt the way that one hoped that it would, or simultaneously another insisted upon what it is that they desired with you, right? You can't, a healthy partnership should not feel like we're pulling each other down the road. It should feel like we're walking with one another. That's why we say to each other, we're just walking one another home. Because a good manifestation has that vibration. You don't feel like you need to chase after each other. You don't feel like you have to drag one another. You just move hand in hand towards the things that you're moving towards. There's a beauty there. There's a serendipity. Right? And that's why I keep on hearing that the energy in separation is in Virgo, because this is the energy in separation in Virgo saying, I'm not insisting upon where I expect my manifestation to come from. What do we say to the universe when we're building towards a healthy manifestation? Help me see. Help me see. Help me see the energy that desires the same things as I do. Help me see where I may be blocking my own path, right? And so I feel like a lot of that energy, like this is again a little the afterglow of that Leo full moon, holding space for the past version of self that may have been more in that space of feeling the desire to force something instead of allowing. And when we try to force things, what often happens? We can't see things, right? And so I keep on seeing, like I keep on hearing a lot of that energy and separation, forgiving themselves in the process. And that's not easy. There's often a lot of grief that we have as it relates to looking at something and saying, I did not aspire it to go this way. I did not desire them to make those choices. But again, recognizing what is outside of one's own ability to control versus honoring the strength and value of one's own choices. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, I see a lot of this energy right now that's going like, it's kind of the opposite, because I see a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union that's diving full tilt into their past. And I got to say, this is not the energy that is diving into the past like they don't want to let go of it, right? Because this is the energy that's diving into their past with their eyes open, because this is the energy that recognizes that there may have been something in the past that they couldn't see via a blind spot that is now being revealed to them via healthy energetic connection. So I keep on seeing that that's the energy that's not like, it's not holding on to, it's not a refusal to let go of the past. It almost feels very Aquarian and very Scorpionic, because this is the energy that says I'm not letting go of the past, because every time I look at it, there's something new to learn, right? A healthy journey is one that our past experience becomes a book that's ever changing, because the more we understand about ourselves, the more we see in the past, right? It's like that continual exploration. So there's something really beautiful that's happening right now. I keep on getting it. It feels it's like Aquarius moving into Scorpio, which is nostalgic, but nostalgic because there's something about the perception of the past that is changing, that is the transformational point. While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union, this is why I keep on getting that this is the energy that is Aries and Gemini, right? Learning to do new things, finding new things, like being like, it's giving me like Swiss Army knife energy. It really is. It's giving me like Swiss Army knife energy. It's giving me like, what do you need? If I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out kind of energy, right? Because when we care about one another, we can be adaptable, right? We like, I keep on seeing the gift that we give each other in counterpart is the ability of learning how to do something new. So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that adaptability for energy deep within divine union. While continuing to get clarification here between our Four of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Queen, our Wheel of Fortune in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Nine of Pentacles. I like it. I like it. Here's the thing. And this is why I can see that some of this energy deep within divine union is being very compassionate for the self in the process, right? You can't change the past, right? Can't change the past. All you can do is change the present, right? All you can do is work in that space of what is available to you. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, being inventive, being creative, right? This is why I keep on getting it's Aries and Gemini, because there's a lot of this sense of like not getting frustrated at the self, but just saying, I haven't found the solution yet, right? Like this is the energy that like, this is very Gemini and Aries, which is like, I know I haven't failed. I just haven't figured out the solution yet to something, right? Like this is the energy that gives each other that space to like, and this is what I'm getting. There's no failure point when you're learning to do something, right? When you are invested in doing something, then everything that you do prior to the moment that you succeed is just the journey of understanding how, right? Like that's what's so beautiful about it. It's like I keep on seeing that that's the energy. The energy deep within divine union is almost saying like failure is an illusion. Failure only becomes failure if one stops in the point of failure, right? Success is the demarcation point of allowing for that context of doing something until you land upon it correctly. So I keep on seeing that a lot of that energy is being compassionate, not only to themselves in that journey, but also towards counterpart. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, I just keep on seeing that this is the energy coming into divine union that's saying, I could not explore the past the way I can now because I feel this ability in the present. There's energy here. I got to point out, there's some energy right now coming into divine union that could not, they're now being nostalgic upon something that they used to look at as shadow work. Something that the energy deep within divine, and that's why I keep on seeing it's actually it's Scorpio coming into Aquarius, not the other way around, because this is the energy that says I'm not afraid to dive into the past because I see something that I could not see before. I'm finding light in a dark spot. That's the gift of the Leo full moon. A blind spot, like a Leo energy. Leo energy sometimes helps us recognize blind spots. So I keep on seeing that this is the energy that's going down back into their past with a flashlight. Like this is the energy going, I'm not dwelling in something. I'm exploring. Like the energy going, I'm exploring. I'm actively exploring something. While for masculine and feminine, and that's why, because the energy is saying the relationship, the partnership in itself is the flashlight. It's helping them see a part of themselves that they couldn't before, which is allowing for that security or stability. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, this is like pure Aries energy. Virgo into Aries is what I keep getting, which is a bunch of energy that says, I need to hold this precious, but I need the courage to move forward, right? How do I hold, and I see the energy going, how do I stay precious, but also find the courage to move forward? How am I precious? How am I precious, but also reckless? How do I be precious and also reckless? How do I be precious and also reckless? But understanding it's not reckless, right? It's not reckless. This is the energy that says like that when we move towards a manifestation, it requires that leap of faith. Right? But that leap of faith is the recklessness, because this is the energy that says, help me see, right? Like, help me see what that step is. Help me understand myself better. And that's the energy that says, again, this is why it feels like shadow work to a certain extent, because this is the energy that feels their fear, but they introspect upon the fear, because this is the healthy fear that says, I'm here to protect you, right? But also you have to walk with me, because that conscientiousness is what guards you to understand what is a part of your manifestation versus what is not, right? It's hairy energy, right? It's hairy. Continuing to get clarification between our Wheel of Fortune in combination with our Ace of Cups. Can I get one card to clarify? Clarification. With the it's the Seven of Wands and it's upright. Right? It's like, pardon me. So here's the thing. Often a good indicator of moving into a manifestation is when we have those moments of surprise and delight and we say to ourselves, I didn't expect to feel this way. Congratulations, you've moved towards a healthy manifestation. Right? A healthy manifestation is learning about the self. in relationality of moving in the direction of what is for us. So I keep on seeing that a lot of that energy in separation is, I can hear a lot of the energy in separation of saying, never have I been so focused on what it is that is for me. And never have I been more afraid of what is not. Because when we start, when we build into healthy manifestation and we become focused upon it, we become very protective. We become very protective of the thing that we're trying to manifest. So I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy is almost moving forward. Like, this is energy in separation that's acting as though they were already, like, it's not acting. It's the energy that's embodying the feeling of already having a relationship that they're being very protective of, because they're already embodying the qualities and characteristics of one that it holds relationship in a precious way. So it can feel a little topsy-turvy, because I can see this energy that is almost embodying the characters, the qualities and characteristics of being in healthy partnership, but not being in partnership. To which I will say, congratulations if you're experiencing that, because that's why I said, like, walking hand in hand with one's own fear is necessary when you're moving towards a healthy manifestation, because you recognize how important it is to you. But you're recognizing that the it is the self. You're holding yourself to the same esteem that you would counterpart, right? So you're that same sense of protectiveness is what you're embodying, which is the gift that you're going to give to the counterpart. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, I can see a lot of this energy. I can see a lot of this energy coming into divine union that's building into a context of looking back on a past version of self with like a little bit of this like a little bit of this like I want to say like it's giving me like a little bit of blissful idiot kind of energy, but I don't mean that in a negative way. You understand when I say that? When we're in a healthy space, we look back on that past version of self, like it's inner child healing, right? When we look back, we go, oh no, like, because we look back at that past version of self, almost like you would like a child, like, oh, look at them trying for something. No, that's not it, right? Like, you're able to see it in a way that you love that version of self, even though you've got some notes for them. Right? You're like, oh, look at that beautiful little idiot. Like, but in like a loving way, right? Like that is the joy. Like, that is the joy that we bring towards something, because we understand something that past version of self did not grasp, right? So we love that version, even though we treat them almost like a child, right? Like, when we're in that space, we always look back at the past version of self with that like, you know, that head shake, right? But also that affection, because we understand the motivations of those missteps. We understand the motivation of those points that felt like they lacked direction. We sentimentalize, or we build into the empathy of understanding in a way that is profound and loving, because in a way we recognize that we are the amplification of the person that person aspired to be, right? While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union, this is why this feels more frustrating right now, because I can still see a lot of that energy feeling like they're like pushing their head against the wall. Because for a lot of that energy, trying to come through with solutions, trying to like find a perspective on something that you haven't considered before, it's very much the same feeling that one can't force a breakthrough. But sometimes one doesn't realize that one's in the midst of a breakthrough, in the process of feeling like you're breaking down, right? So there's a little bit of this energy here that I want to say is working through frustration, but channeling it in ways that feel productive, right? And I gotta say, there's something to be said about sacred rage here, because sacred rage is feeling that conviction or that fire for something, right? It's the passion that we bring forth that motivates us, which is why it's so important to be able to channel frustration in ways that feels like it's energetically effective. Because often, this is why, like, when we're frustrated, it can sometimes feel like we're just spinning our wheels, right? Because we're letting off steam, but it's not going anywhere, right? But when we're in a place where we take frustration and we channel it into something that feels productive, we can often allow ourselves to be motivated into a breakthrough. So that's why I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that. I told you, Gemini and Aries for the energy deep within divine union, because this is energy that is getting creative as it relates to channeling their frustration. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our 10 of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Eight of Pentacles in its reversal. Frustration doesn't fix anything, right? Like we've talked a lot about this. Like when we're in a healthy space, being frustrated feels self-indulgent, right? Because it doesn't allow for a force of change. This has to do, and I told you even now, like some of the challenge of that Leo full moon energy that we just had to leave is the fact that sometimes it feels good to feel bad. Like, when we're in that space of like coming into woe is me, right? It can feel very self-indulgent. It can also be a lot of that place of like working through the emotions that often, and remembering, and this is why when we're in a healthy place, we understand that we honor the emotions because we listen to what the emotions are asking for. The emotions are not directions. And I keep on seeing, I would not be surprised if some of this full moon energy that we just experienced did result in, if someone was coming more from a place of the ego, talking about how one feels, right, isn't a direction, right? The emotions aren't directions. And that's why I keep on seeing that there's something really important that's happening for the energy and separation, especially if there was something that happened during that full moon cycle and someone coming towards another just with their emotions, but not giving clarification as to what the emotions are asking for, right? Not giving a direction with the emotions, right? There may have been a lot of moments of someone emotionally opening up during I keep on getting like some head scratching moments, because when we're doing that work of introspection, we don't just deliver our emotions to another like a gift. Like the ability to say to someone, like the ability to say to someone, I have feelings for you. They can be that can be like a white elephant. You know what I mean? Like when we give each other emotions without direction, it's a white elephant because it complicates things. It confuses things. It's like, I don't want to carry these, so I'm giving them to you to deal with. But when we're in that healthy space, we articulate to each other what our feelings are, and then we tell another what we hope to do with them. Right? We give coordinates, we give the emotions, but then we also give the direction. So I keep on seeing that something about this full moon period gave evidence to what had direction versus what lacked direction, right? Like the fine tuning, I keep on seeing that there's something about this full moon that fine tuned the difference between someone holding on to emotions but lacking direction of them versus someone who has the amplification of understanding what the emotions are asking for, and also being able to say, this is what they're like, this is the direction they're asking us to go into, right? So this is also potentially healing from anything that felt like there was a lot of emotions connected to it, but a lack of direction as to where something was going. Because sometimes we'll feel emotionally trapped in situations. Emotionally trapping relationships are such that we have a lot of emotions for something, but no clarity, right? There are relationships of that nature, and they can almost feel like it's like quicksand energy. right? Because we get bogged down by the emotions, but we can't see where something is going, but all we feel is more and more of the emotionality, right? This is often how we can start to feel dragged down or bogged down by the emotions. So I keep on seeing a lot of this energy working through, like, that's the gravity. Like, I see a lot of energy in separation, letting go of something that was holding them down, right? Saying, I honor the fact that I care, but if the emotions don't have direction, then it just drags us down because we don't feel like we're going anywhere with them, but we're trapped within the emotional space. While for a lot of the energy right now, something about that gravity, this is the energy that's diving down into it. That's why I keep on getting it's Scorpio and Aquarius right now, right? Because this is for the energy in separation. This is the energy that says it takes courage to pull the self out of something that one feels a lot of emotions to but lacks direction, right? It's like pulling yourself out of quicksand. While for a lot, and that's why it's Virgo in Aries. While for a lot of the energy right now that is coming into divine union, it feels like a diving bell, because this is the energy that's using that weight, the gravitas of the present experience. It's allowing them to go deeper into something from the past because they're finding things there that they couldn't see before. While for a lot of the energy right now that is deep within divine union, this is why I see that it feels like it's Gemini in Aries, because this is the energy that says the beauty of a counterpart is that their perspective on something shows you something that you couldn't see before, right? Often then we're in healthy counterpart energy. The ability of perceiving something from the perspective of counterpart helps us as it relates to expansiveness of possibility. Continuing to get clarification here between our 10 of Wands in its reversal in combination with our 9 of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Page of Cups in its reversal. So this, what we're starting to experience right now, is the shift out of Aquarius into Pisces. Right? And we're going to talk a little bit about pesky emotions. Because a lot of this work, you have to understand, and we talked a little bit about this, the difference between the difference between Pisces energy and Aquarius energy all has to do with what one does with emotions that one doesn't know what to do with, right? It has a lot to do, like, I think I told you how, like, Aquarius energy often is like, like, wants to work in that space of being like, look, if I can't figure out what to do with an emotion, I'll make it disappear. And Pisces always says, don't do that. Why does Pisces say to Aquarius, don't do that? Because the Aquarius, Pisces tries to say to Aquarius, that's not a magic trick. Right? Aquarius, like, look at my magic trick. I can make the emotions disappear. And Pisces is just shaking their head going, you foolish fool. You can't make anything disappear. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. You're just putting it somewhere, and now it's in control of everything, right? Like, when you take the emotion that you don't want to deal with and you're like, I'm just going to make it go away. Now it's running everything, right? The unprocessed emotions that we try to disassociate from, they start running everything. They control everything when you don't allow oneself to process them, right? Because they become the unseen emotions, right? They become our own emotional blind spots, right? This is often why we talk about why we do shadow work, because when we confront things that we try to avoid, like we run smack dab into them, right? There's buoyancy there. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now. This is why I keep on getting this, like, this vision of energy working on seeing something in a different way, because a lot of that energy is healing in separation from something that may have had a lot of emotion but no direction. That's quicksand, right? Relationships that have all emotion but no direction are quicksand, because they feel like they emotionally pull us down. They don't allow us to go where we desire to go. The emotions almost feel like they're pulling us towards things that are directionless, right? And that can feel very painful. And I keep on seeing that a lot of that energy is healing from circumstances or situations, not by saying to oneself, it's not the fact of saying, I don't care about that, but almost identifying and saying that the gift that we give to one another when we're in a healthy space is that our emotions don't feel like they burden us. They don't feel like they drag us down or hold us in place. They feel like they motivate us, right? They give us vision. They pull us out of things. Like emotions shouldn't drag us down. They should pull us out of things in a way, because it's that motivational force, right? The positive emotion that creates wings, as opposed to feeling like it's like dragging us into the ether of our own like lack of understanding. So I keep on seeing that that's a lot of the energy right now in separation, either healing from those spaces or places wherein they felt like there was a lack of direction, but a lot of emotions holding them in place, or those spaces of healing from and this is why we work on, this is why also we do the work of ourselves. We've all been guilty of those moments where we feel like we're in, this is when we say to ourselves, I'm not for anybody right now, right? Because if we can't find that motivation of the self, then we can't give it to it's not a gift that we can give to others as well. So I think that there's something really important about this that I'm seeing, because I see a lot of the energy in separation, recognizing what was within one's own power to change and taking that responsible action, or what was outside of one's own purview to realize and recognize, right? And this is why we talk about, when we insist to the universe and we say, oh, my manifestation must come through that person, the universe often says to us, why? Why must it be? What are you seeking in that person that is characteristic and qualitative? Walk me through why, because when we are able to do that, we're able to see our higher self with more clarity in the process, right? The introspection in what we expect to desire from another is the mirror that helps us see ourselves with more clarity. And this is why it's important that we don't project out onto others, because when we project out onto others, it can often be like we're being more reflective in terms of like how we feel about ourselves, because of what it is that we think that we see in another, right? So I feel like I just keep on seeing that there's something really important here, because I keep on getting that some of the energy right now in separation has gotten the ick, right? Something that they were drawn towards, they're now worried about experiencing again, right? Something that they would have moved towards, they're now afraid to move out of, because they're worried about experiencing again. This is why I keep on seeing that this is Virgo going into Aries, because this is the energy that says that wouldn't happen again, couldn't happen again if you tried, because you're no longer the person that moves towards it. While continuing to get clarification here for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, this is why the energy is saying, I'm ready. I'm ready to go into the past. I'm ready to do that sense of self-exploration, because there's some shadow work, right? Something that we look at as shadow work does not become shadow work when we feel like we can shine a light on something, because some work we can only do when we feel like we're in an energetically good place to do it. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, being able to look at something and not feel like it's shadow work in itself is the amplification of how far one has come, because this isn't the energy trying to avoid something from the past, but something that is ready to be introspected upon, because the energy feels stable enough to do so. That's why I keep on seeing it's Aquarius and Scorpio. While for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union right now, this is all that Gemini Aries energy, because I keep on seeing that this is the energy that says, it's not that I've failed, I just haven't found a solution. That this ability of continuing to try and do something, it's allowing for that sense of adaptability and possibility to expand, right? It's brainstorming energy. Continuing to get clarification between our 9 of Pentacles in combination with our 7 of Wands in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Page of Pentacles. Now, I got to tell you right now, some of the things I'm seeing here has to do with a little bit of the fact that we've got that Venus retrograde that's starting up on March 1st, right? Not being too hard on the self. I'm going to say this again. You are not a mess. You are a work in progress. We're going to have to keep saying this like throughout the month of March, that whatever this is, we are perpetually in the job of existence is perpetually feeling like you're trying to get your act together because because that work, right? You're never, it's perfect. Perfection is an illusion. You know, everywhere we go, we just become more and more fastidious in relationality to identifying where we are and how we feel. So I want to keep on saying that right now, like especially with a little bit of this afterglow of the Leo full moon coming into Pisces season, honor, if I don't want any, like, I want you to honor how far you've come. I don't want to-do lists. I also want got done lists. I want you to identify what that feels like. Because the only thing about it is, and the only thing I'm worried about with this next month coming up is we've got a bunch of eclipse season, which is an amplification of things, but also working in that context of Venus in retrograde, which can be very hard on the self and be very comparative. I want you to appreciate and really honor, like, I want you to start getting that work in. I want you to start doing that like getting into that space of honoring the self and appreciating it. Continuing to get clarification between our Eight of Cups and its reversal in combination with our Page of Cups and its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Five of Cups in its upright. I'm going to say it again. Perfection is an illusion, and it's easy to become nostalgic upon things. It's way too easy to grow nostalgic. All right. The past always looks a little bit shinier because we're not in the midst of all the mess of it. Right. It's like being able to gaze upon something from a distance always allows for that context of appreciating. But that's why I keep on seeing that there's something really important about where Neptune is right now. Because, and this is why I keep on getting that there's a lot of this warrior energy. And I keep on hearing a lot of the energy in separation saying, I hoped for a different outcome. Right? Yes. That's what it means when we're on a healthy journey. There's the amplification of what we expected versus what we found. When we're navigating a place of reality, we often experience those pitfalls, those disappointments. But when we honor that space, right, when we invest upon inquiring on ourselves, in energetically saying, I can almost hear the higher self saying to another as they're healing, what did you expect? And this is why I keep on getting the fact that Scorpio is I keep on hearing Scorpio is helping a lot of the energy in separation. Because when we say to ourselves, it's not what I expected it to be. And then we ask ourselves and say, well, what was the dream? Right? And then we say to ourselves a dream. What is the energy looking back on the past saying? Is that something that you ever identified was there? Or are you holding disappointment for the fact that it never became what you hoped or aspired it to become? Because that's why I keep on hearing Scorpio saying to the energy in separation, if it isn't what you expected it to be, maybe it's because it hasn't arrived yet, right? Take my hand, I'll show you, right? Like that's a bit of that Scorpio energy that's helping the energy in separation move out of Virgo into Aries, right? While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, I keep on seeing this energy going, I couldn't see something that I can see now. And this is why I see a lot of that energy looking back and having a profoundly different lesson or experience as it relates to looking at their own past. Because there's something of magnitude that they're receiving in partnership now that's framing the context of something that occurred. And this is why I see that energy moving towards that eagerly, because it feels like it is revelatory. While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union right now, This is all about not being hard on oneself as one continues to evolve and progress, right? Thank you. So much of this work that we're seeing that's happening right now, deep within divine union, is navigating through the frustrations of the self and not being too hard on the self. And this is how the counterparts help one another, because the compassion that we give forth to each other is what the energy is trying to reflect. This is wild. Okay, so if the energy deep within divine union is being too hard on themselves, they're giving each other the compassion of the counterpart. Right? It's like I keep on hearing the energy deep within divine union is crafting new mirrors. And the mirror is the mirror of the counterpart to help them get a better sense of themselves, to help navigate through this Venus retrograde cycle that we're coming into. Continuing to get clarification between our Page of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. 7 of Cups in its reversal. So I got to say, there's a lot of work that we're seeing that feels like the amplification and recognition of, I want to say, like, confidence. Like this has a lot to do with the fact that we're about to come out of this Aries in retrograde cycle. There's a lot, I keep on saying, the thing about it is confidence and courage do not exist in the same place. You don't need courage when you have confidence. Courage is what you do when there isn't certainty. So I just keep on seeing that for a lot of this energy, moving forward from a place of courage right now. This is feeling very focused. It's feeling very directional. And I like it too, because it's saying to me that I see a lot of that energy working through frustration and just channeling it into direct action. And that's happening across all the frequencies, right? And a little bit of the difficulty here has to do with working through the framework of nostalgia, but not allowing that nostalgia to change like the present context of how one is perceiving things. Final card for today's spread between our 5 of Cups in combination with our 7 of Cups in its reversal. Oh, I love it. 3 of Wands, shift in perspective. A lot of perspective shifts that are happening right now. And I like this too, because there's something to be said. I keep on seeing this is a lot of the energy that's learning to focus on not holding regret for the past and leaving oneself open to the possibilities of the future. Like, it feels to me like breakthrough energy, and it is having a different impact depending on where you are in the frequency cycles, right? Like this is exactly what I meant with the energy and separation. Like, this is how Scorpio is helping the energy and separation, because this is the energy that says, if you were waiting for something from the past that you could not see or did not receive, what makes you think that it lives there? Perhaps what you're looking for is ahead of you. It's not behind you. So that's a lot of that energy that is finding the confidence of building towards the manifestation that says, come with me, let me show you, right? All I need is the courage for you to see, right? So this is a lot of that energy. The manifestation of the energy right now in separation is, grant me the courage that I can see what is for me, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I just keep on seeing that a lot of this energy coming into divine union, this is the energy that's diving into the past in ways that they didn't feel confident of before, because they see something in the present that feels like it is grounding them, right? We identify the fact that some shadow work we cannot do when it feels like shadow work, right? When something is too heavy for us to navigate, when circumstances are too difficult, we sometimes are not in a place that we can do so. But I keep on seeing that there's something about the energy right now coming into divine union. The clarity of that force is what is allowing It doesn't feel like shadow work. I keep on seeing it doesn't feel like shadow work. It feels like exploration, because they're exploring something with the possibility of the perspective of the present. So a lot of that same energy of Aquarius and Scorpio. While for masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now, this is energy that is going through breakthroughs as it relates to new possibilities. Seeing something in a way that they haven't before. Working through that context is, there's adaptability there, specifically and particularly because this is energy that is being very imaginative as it relates to how to solve wounds of intimacy in terms of identifying and recognizing new ways of communicating, new ways of adapting, being very conscientious and present towards the counterpart that's allowing for new breakthroughs to occur. Bottom of the deck on today's reading, especially with this two of Swords, bottom of the deck, there's something to be said about not being reactive right now, right? There's a little bit about this energy that it's like I told you, given some of the placements that we have right now, it's hard to be patient. There's a little bit of this context as it relates to taking action right now. And I want to say, not being, and this has more to do with what I said in relationality to understanding those that are operating more from a place of the ego, as opposed to something that feels energetically productive, right? Like when we're not in a good space or when we're reacting from the ego, there's an inclination just to want to give someone a piece of our mind or tell someone how we feel. But when we're in a healthy place, we recognize that sometimes that inclination feels very self-indulgent because it doesn't solve anything, right? Like we understand the difference between emotions that are asking for things versus coordinates. Like when we're in a healthy space, we articulate how we feel, and then we come with our own solutions to circumstances. And so I can kind of see even now that some of the issues that may be coming through as it relates to some of that, like I told you, the Leo full moons can be very dramatic when we often just want to dwell in how we feel instead of explore what the emotions are asking for. So it is giving a little bit of this like uncertainty to be reached if there was someone that came towards you in a way that they were just divesting themselves of feelings, but without any clarity as to direction. That helps understand the difference between a relationship or circumstances that is just built upon the confusion of feelings, right? Versus something that feels like it's in a healthy space because it motivates and directs and drives action. So I keep on seeing like it's like everybody's looking for proper directions. And so when you're in a healthy place, you bring those directions with you. When you're not, it can be very confusing because if another person can't see the fact that something that they're bringing forth lacks direction, it's not something that you can effectively, it's almost like you have to step away from, like, it doesn't show the fact that something has changed. It almost like, it's like someone who brings the like, it's like the articulation of something that hasn't changed that feels even more frustrating because it shows why those emotions are an impasse. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my website. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Hermit card. Our next class is this Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Wheel of Fortune. If you would like to be a part of our class program, all you need to do is become a paid subscriber to my Substack. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access as a monthly subscriber to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. You'll also have access to the full Tarot Church Library as well. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you so much if you're already joining us there, and I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarots. These are for my clients who are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Finally, I want to let you guys know that I'm also offering now dream interpretation reading packages. You can purchase those on an individual reading per dream or as a full package. If you purchase the package, please make sure that you start to keep a dream journal, as we will be weekly or bi-weekly to review your dream journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key messages and symbols coming through to you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again